In this week's episode of One Piece, we finally get to see the conclusion to the Dressrosa massacre. And we also get to learn how Doflamingo was able to take over this kingdom in one night and systematically turn it into a terrible toy box of terror. This was a pretty exciting episode. It was mostly an extension of last week's in that we got a lot of the same scenes with King Riku going around the kingdom and murdering fools left and right. Although this week it manages to be slightly more disturbing, and a lot of that has to do with the production value and the fact that it seems like Doflamingo doesn't really seem to have any prejudice with who he kills. Men, women, children. He'll do whatever it takes to take over the kingdom, and Doflamingo does have a little bit of help, and you get to see a lot of his goons this week, some of which we've never even seen before, and it seems like he sort of divides them up into his A team and his B team. But I love them both equally. If there's one thing I love about the new Don Quixote family, it's how ridiculous they look. They take the weirdness of One Piece and kick it up to 11, and I think that's one of the best things about the show, is how some of these characters can look almost funny at times, but they'll end up being the type of character who will take your head off in one hit. So, the A-team is awesome because we have Diamante there, we also have Treble, the weird gooey guy, and then we have this big bastard by the name of Pica, who just looks huge, massive shoulder arms, and he's got this like weird star helmet on. I don't know what it is about this guy, but he's awesome, and I really want to see Frankie fight him, but only because they have similar builds, and I just imagine that that would be really cool. But the reason these guys are in town is they're there to basically make Doflamingo look good, to make him look like the hero, because they're framing King Riku, and basically he's sort of taking over the throne. The other team that Doflamingo has sent in is taking over the castle, and we also get to see that they're taking charge of his daughter, a character that we have actually seen before and is related to Rebecca's mother. You may have remembered this character by the name of Violet, yes, Sanji's dream woman. Well, apparently, Violet is the daughter of King Riku, sister to Rebecca's mother, which makes her Rebecca's aunt. And that actually makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of hints early on where you get to see Violet's true nature, and I really want to see more from this character, and technically she could be next for the throne, and I think that would be really awesome to see. But who knows where that's going. The other big development, of course, after the flashback, is we go back to the Tontada tribe, and they're just getting ready to gear up for this big war. And I love the point the Toy Soldier made, where they just found out in the newspapers that apparently Doflamingo decided to just get rid of the kingdom. He's done, he's sick of being king. And then just a few hours later, they figured out that it was a lie. And this just fired them up even more, so they're sharpening their little toothpicks and shit and getting ready to go to war. And I cannot wait to see that. And of course, Usopp is doing what Usopp always does, trying to get out of a shitty situation and trying to avoid a battle with Doflamingo at all costs. This scene is also cool because Frankie is hilarious here. I see him cry all the time, but just the fact that he's wearing this hilariously ridiculous beard and just rolling around on the floor like an idiot just couldn't help but put a big smile on my face. So, pretty interesting episode, just sort of ends with Luffy running into Kinemon and Zoro, and Bartolomeo. He must have just collapsed from fanboyism. I don't really know what happened to him. Luffy just mentioned that he collapsed. That's really the end of that. So, what's the rundown on this week's episode of One Piece? Pretty good stuff. A little, slow, I think, for some people in the first half because a lot of it was just sort of an extension of things we saw last week. However, there was more intensity in it this week. They made good use of lighting and stuff, and they made things seem really creepy. Like the one scene where Doflamingo was controlling all the soldiers, and they literally did look like puppets. They were just covered in silhouette, and they had glowing yellow eyes, and that was just very disturbing. That combined with the fact that Riku was literally killing everybody and just was feeling so remorseful and was basically wishing death upon himself. But as we went on to learn in the episode, he actually does not die, and that's actually thanks to Violet, who's actually known as Viola. I believe that's her real name. And she just begs Doflamingo to not kill her father, and that's how he's been able to sort of live in secrecy this entire time. One backstory they have not gotten into yet is that of the Toy Soldiers, and I really want to see a little bit more of that. And that's going to be probably a long time coming because he mentions that there are just some memories that he can't get a hold of. A lot of people can't remember him anymore. And of course, that's one of the biggest crimes about Dressrosa is that no one can remember anything anymore. And thus, Doflamingo is able to manipulate the country even more so. So, pretty good episode. It looks like we're done with this history lesson for now. Probably we'll go back to the Coliseum and get a little bit of action. And frankly, I'd like to see some more action. I'd like to get to the end of Rebecca's fight and maybe start another round, see some brand new characters, maybe even see Luffy do something, maybe some of the other members. There's So many possibilities for this arc. Not to mention, there's still Fujitora roaming around, there's Law, there's Doflamingo battle going on that they haven't even gotten back to yet. So overall, this was a great episode. It definitely demonstrated the ruthlessness of Doflamingo, and aside from that, like, the animation and the artwork was pretty decent throughout the episode. You gotta remember, this is a weekly anime series that has been running for a really long time. So this one actually did look really good, and I think they made great use of colors, especially during the whole massacre scene. All the red and black just made everything seem very ominous. So, great episode right here. Check it out, One Piece fans, and make sure and stay tuned. I'm sure we're going to get some crazy action soon, and hopefully we'll get back to Doflamingo versus Law. So I'm going to give this week's episode a 3 out of 5. Check it out, guys. Good stuff. Thank you guys for watching my review today. Before you leave, make sure to hit that like button so you can give this video a thumbs up. And before you leave, please tell me what you thought about this week's episode of One Piece. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And you can also check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. I'll put links for that stuff in the description box below.
Do you like Amazon.com? I know I do. Corey and I now have an Amazon link in our video description box below. And if you go to it and buy anything through Amazon.com, it will support our channel. So bookmark that link, make it happen, and support our channel without having to do a damn thing.
Another great way you guys can help support our channel is by donating directly through our PayPal link in the description box below. We recommend $2 a month, although this is completely optional. But the best way to go about this is by sneaking into your mom's room and taking $2. This way, she won't even notice. And we won't have to shake you up for all of your lunch money. So guys, that concludes this review today. Super Kami Guru 9000. Out.